We're Team Leicester.
And we're all university graduates.
We know it can be quite a daunting time choosing the next steps after graduation.
So we're here to share our experiences to help you choose your next step.
Hi, I'm Emma and I studied football coaching development at the University of South Wales. After graduating, I became a sports coach, going into schools delivering PE and extracurricular sessions. This job helped me learn a lot of transferable skills. I then fancied a career change, so I went to work in HR for the University of Nottingham. I am now working for Unite Students as a service sales advisor and now looking to progress.
Hi, I'm Megan and I studied criminal investigation with policing studies at De Montfort University, Leicester. Following my degree, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do or if it was still a field that I wanted to go into. So I left my part-time job and I decided to take a gap year to decide what I wanted to pursue. Following this time, after taking some time to travel, I decided I did want to pursue a role in the field and decided to complete a master's at the University of Leicester in Intelligence and Security. I'm presently working for Unite Students, but I'm waiting for the right role to come up for me.
Hi, my name is Rosie and I studied textile design at De Montfort University in Leicester. After university, I became a student ambassador with De Montfort University and decided I want to work with students. After a few months working as a student ambassador, I moved on to Unite Students and I'm still there today.
Hi, I'm Elliot. I studied human geography at the University of Leicester. After I finished my degree, I moved back home, which is Lancaster in the northwest. I started working for an estate agents, and after a year, I decided I wanted to move back down to Leicester because that's where my friends were. So I got a job at Unite Students, and it's like career change, but in January, I will be doing a graduate program with the Leicestershire Police. Obviously, a slight change away from my previous jobs, but it shows that your career can go anywhere.
Hi, my name is Christina. I studied English language and literature at De Montfort University in Leicester. After I graduated, I didn't quite know what I wanted to do, so I stayed in my temporary university job for another year and a half. After that, I realized that I needed a change of pace and retail just wasn't for me anymore. And that's when I got a job at Unite Students.
Hello everyone, my name is James and I study sports coaching and sports development at the University of Derby. Today I'm going to talk about my career and life choices, from graduating university to the present. Whilst at university I worked on the Swatch Volleyball World Tour for 5 years in preparation for the London 2012 Olympics, as ultimately I wanted to be a sports development officer. After graduation I took a different path by enrolling on a vehicle maintenance course at college. After that I secured a job at Know-How and was offered management training, however this wasn't what I expected, so therefore I went travelling where I had no other commitments. After that, I worked in Bulgaria promoting events. I worked for an agency at Unite Students and then as a service and safety advisor. Currently, I'm employed as a service and sales advisor in Leicester, a position which I enjoy immensely. I am passionate about giving the students the best possible experience whilst at university and hope to progress within the company. Also, I work for I Love Tour Students Festivals. Currently, I'm a tournament director for the beach volleyball. Life is about making choices that are right for you, follow your dreams, and most importantly, be happy and fulfilled. With hard work and determination, anything is possible.
As you come to the end of your degree, you may be starting to think about what comes next. Now more than ever, the way forward may not be so clear for you. This past year, we have been faced with a pandemic, numerous lockdowns, and lectures like we've never seen before. This seminar is going to walk you through the options that you may wish to explore after you graduate. Now, this list isn't extensive, but it will serve as a great kickstarter for your postgraduate lives. Taking on a master's or exploring a gap year are two of the most common options that students take following their undergraduate degree. Landing a graduate job or becoming self-employed may be a little bit harder and will definitely require more work, but they are still options for you. We will also take some time to give you some advice about getting your CV up to date with the information potential employers like to see. The things that you will need to write an amazing cover letter and some advice to get you interview ready. We hope after this seminar that you are feeling more confident about the next steps you're going to be taking and feel more prepared about what is going to be next. Doing a master's or a PhD is great for developing you in 3 key areas: your transferable skills, a demonstration of your commitment, and specialist knowledge. Further study is a step up from a degree and is more self-driven. It shows employers that you are able to self-motivate and can work to a high standard. Employers usually look for good language skills and the ability to assess situations and make difficult decisions. Further study hones these skills. Taking another step on the academic ladder shows you are committed to personal development and want to continue to learn. Going on to do a PhD shows a deep commitment to the research and furthering the field that you are studying in. It also shows that you not only want to learn more about these specialist subjects, but you want to contribute and develop the field. This can translate into leadership roles and decision-making roles. These also allow you to specialise further and pursue an in-depth knowledge in your field of study. Specialising demonstrates a further commitment to the field and shows employers that you are committed to these roles and are worth pursuing as a candidate. Taking a gap year gives you the opportunity to have some freedom before you settle into what is most likely going to be a full-time occupation. It may also be your last opportunity for a while to pursue other passions and have that little extra time you need to truly explore the places you may be visiting. Gap years are often great opportunities to enhance and develop your financial maturity. Going travelling is an expensive feat and you will need to be able to manage a tight budget. You can use this experience to demonstrate to potential employers your planning skills and show that you know how to prioritise and make those tough decisions. Gap years give you the opportunity to learn about different cultures and learn new languages. Embracing other cultures is an enlightening experience and gives you the chance to embrace diversity. Being aware of diversity is a key skill that employers now look for, and travelling allows you to demonstrate this awareness. Learning new languages is another key element that puts you ahead of the game and other candidates when applying for jobs. And utilising these languages on a daily basis with those that are fluent in them will enhance your development and ensure that the language skills stay with you for a long time. Having the opportunity to travel will also enhance your capabilities academically and change the way that you engage with the field and the literature surrounding your field. A gap year doesn't just mean travelling around the world. Whilst it is an option for your gap year, it isn't your only option. Volunteering is a wonderful way to spend your gap year. Employers often look for experience when you apply for positions, and volunteering is a crucial way of obtaining this. It's not only the experience that you gain through volunteering, but also the networks that you create whilst you're there. These give you an ample opportunity to create key contacts in the field that you might be going into. Further courses are another option for your gap year. You don't have to take a master's or go on to a PhD to further your career. You can take further courses to enhance those little areas that you might be weaker in and bring you up to speed with the rest of the candidates you may be competing against. Overseas employment is another option for your gap year. It really highlights how much skill you have if you are able to compete in the industry whilst utilising different languages and embracing their culture as well. This really will help you stand out among the candidates that you may be going up against. As you come to the end of your degree, you may be thinking about self-employment and whether this is a good option for you. Being your own boss requires a lot of hard work and you will need to put in the time, but it has plenty of advantages too. By going self-employed, you'll be in charge of decision making. You'll have the freedom to explore a number of creative solutions to problems that arise, and you will have the satisfaction of seeing your ideas and decisions being thought through to completion. As well as creative freedom, you'll also be able to set your own hours and fit your work around other commitments, which often leads to an improved quality of life. Reaping the rewards of your hard work can be very satisfying, while you also have the autonomy to do the things you love the most. Working from home, where applicable, means that you don't have to worry about office politics, company hierarchies, or expensive and stressful daily commutes. Your earning potential is so much higher when self-employed. Everything is in your hands, meaning you can take on more or less work at various times of the day. Financially, the sky's the limit. As you're in control of your workload, you'll have the opportunity to work on a range of projects with a number of clients and develop new skills. You'll also gain experience in different areas of setting up a business, including overseeing the finances and the administrative work. It is possible for you to stay in your current employment and pursue these new self-employed opportunities at the same time. This will give you the added layer of financial security if you're not quite sure self-employment is for you yet. One of the options you may be looking at now that you're coming to the end of your career is looking to find a graduate job. These can be particularly appealing because they offer a good level of support when they're starting your career and can help you enhance those skills that might not quite be there yet. Graduate jobs also offer enhanced training and development opportunities that will be important for you to utilise in future applications. Some graduate jobs also offer a mentor to talk through any problems or concerns that you may be having. These will be particularly important for those that have little experience working before, and these mentors will particularly help guide you through the new working world. Graduate jobs also offer you the chance to rotate through the different departments. This can particularly be appealing if you're not quite sure which departments you want to be working in yet and are still unsure of which field you might want to go into. They will give you ample amounts of experience and really set you up for making decisions in the future. Another opportunity with graduate jobs is they often provide global opportunities, and this will give you further experience in working in another country that will enhance your opportunity to develop your language skills and will allow you to embrace different cultures. If you have started to actively look for a graduate job, you may still be unsure of where you might be able to find them. Places like Prospects or even your own university portal are perfect to start looking for graduate jobs. Prospects is particularly useful as it will match your skills and the field that you've been studying in to the potential jobs that may suit you best. A top tip for starting your graduate job search is starting early. Some graduate programs are really popular and you may miss out on opportunities if you start looking too late. Also, some graduate jobs start applications early. It may not be that they're popular, but they may have started the application process before you finished your degree. Look for companies that offer career progression. This will allow you, once you have completed your degree and your graduate placement, to progress on to further roles within the company and keep developing as a candidate. Some meaningful advice provided by Alan Stewart, Director of Careers and Employability at Middlesex University, is that to find a graduate job, you'll need to be proactive, try different approaches, stay positive, learn from any setbacks, and continuously improve your applications until you succeed. Remember, even if the applications you've already sent in haven't come back with positive reviews, ask for feedback, learn from what you've sent in, and remember, keep trying, you will get there. A covering letter is usually sent in alongside your CV. It is your chance to show off those old letter writing skills and demonstrate your literacy competency. Do not be generic with your cover letter. Having a structure in mind of what to put where is great and it gets you started. But a generic letter repeatedly sent out gives the impression that you are lazy and that you do not care about the position you're applying for. Not everyone asks for one, and some job sites like Indeed make it an optional extra when sending in your CV. It's worth taking the time out to add this to your application though, as it shows that you have made the effort when applying for the role. Most employers will expect you to have taken the time to compose a cover letter, and where it is stated as optional, use this as a way of measuring candidates that go that extra mile. A cover letter is your opportunity to discuss 5 key areas: your motivation, your objectives, career changes, employment gaps, and achievements. The opening of your letter should include your motivations for applying for a job and why you want to join the company. It's best not to be too over the top. For example, don't say cliched things like "I've wanted to work for your company ever since I was little." Mention a couple of achievements the company has made and explain these as reasons for you wanting to join a company that is committed to achieving great standards. In your cover letter, you will also need to set out career objectives, and it helps if these objectives align with what the company is looking to achieve too. Remember to keep your career objectives reasonable and realistic to the company you will be applying for. For example, you wouldn't write that you want to actively work towards reducing carbon emissions if you're applying for something like a coal mining position. Be sensible and remember to keep your career objectives reasonable and realistic. If you are moving into a new career, tell them why. There is nothing wrong with changing careers, but tell them that you are taking this option with their company. It doesn't need to be extensive, just a little bit about why you might be wanting to change careers, and remember to keep it positive. If you're tired of the present job, phrase it that you want to explore new opportunities and gain new skills. This is also where you may want to expand on employment gaps that you may have. You have to be honest, but you don't have to sabotage your own job search. If you've been looking for a job, rather than saying that you couldn't find anything, explain that you haven't found the right job yet and that you're being selective. It makes it seem like you have selected their company from all of the others that might be interested in you. Now your CV will list your achievements, but your covering letter is where they will do the work for you. This is your time to show an employer exactly what those achievements have meant for you. What skills did you learn as part of them? How can they apply to the role that the company is advertising for? And why does this company need you and these skills? A cover letter is set out like an actual letter. You can put this in the body of an email, but potential employers will still expect it to be set out as a formal letter. Your first paragraphs are going to want to set out your motivations and your objectives that you wish to achieve when working for the company. You'll want to align these with what the company wants to achieve too. This is also where you're going to need to show what you can offer the company and why they need you the most. Your final paragraph is a conclusion of sorts and is where you're going to highlight all of your points together. Most people will only ever think about their CV or updating it when they are applying for a job, but you should be continuously updating your CV, even when you're not looking for a new role, to ensure that it reflects you as best it can. A CV is your most valuable tool to securing an interview and is the first impression that you give to a potential employer. Your CV has to set you apart from the other candidates, and the decision whether to progress you on to interview stages is often made purely based on the CV and covering letter that you send them. A good CV will include your contact details, usually your phone number, email address, and home address, the skills that you have that are relevant to the job you're applying for, your work experience, any qualifications you have, particularly those that are relevant to your application, any interests or hobbies that you may have that will give an employer a sense of who you are, and a personal statement about how you are the best fit for the role. These are the top tips for writing your CV that will help your CV to stand out from the crowd. Uploading your CV to a CV bank website is a great option to reach as many employers as possible whilst doing very little work. Make sure that your CV includes those keywords that are relevant to the type of work you are looking to enter into, so that prospective employers can find you more easily. And don't forget, every time that you change or update your CV, you're going to need to update it on the CV bank too. If you have any gaps in your CV, you'll need to explain these. If you don't, it could be the difference between you getting the job or not. You don't need a vast amount of detail, just a short explanation about what you use this time for, whether that's personal development, re-evaluating your career path, or taking some time to travel. Your CV doesn't need to be complicated. Have a clear structure and make the information easy to find. If you put too much on your CV, it can put an employer off and they may not bother to look through the rest of it. If you have lots that you want to talk about, keep the points sharp on your CV and expand it in more detail on your covering letter. That's what it's there for. Although you should aim to be updating your CV regularly, you will need to tailor it specifically to the job that you're applying for. Your CV isn't going to match every role that you apply for, and it's unlikely that you're going to redo the whole CV. You just need to change some small details that show an employer that you've carefully considered the document you're putting forward. Spelling and grammar. This is the most important part of your CV. If the language and the spelling in your CV isn't up to a good standard, or if your punctuation is inconsistent, you are going to come across as though you do not care about the position. That is not someone that an employer is going to spend their time on progressing to interviews. All it takes is a good check after you have finished, or see if a friend would be willing to read it through for you. It's easy to miss errors when you've been working on it for a long time. Congratulations, you spruced up your CV, submitted your application, impressed that employer, and now you've landed yourself a job interview. We all know that a job interview can be scary and daunting. You're going to be going into a new place for the first time, meeting new people, and there is a lot of pressure to get this right. This will be their first impression of you, and you're going to want to put your best foot forward, from the way you answer your questions to the way you present yourself during the interview. It can be difficult answering interview questions, and some of them may come at you unexpectedly. If you keep the STAR method in mind, you should have no problems at all. S. Explain the situation. This is where you're going to give them a little bit of background to what situation you're discussing, why you were there, and what your role was. The task. This is where you will explain what was needed, what the problem may have been that you were faced with, and the challenges that you may have been up against. The action. This is where you describe the actions that you took to solve the problem. It's important to emphasize here what role you played in dealing with this particular problem or situation. This stage is the most important part, so give as much detail as you can. This is where the interviewer will be looking to evaluate your decision-making skills and see how you cope under pressure. The result. This is how your decisions affected the outcome of the situation, and you're going to want to include anything you may have learnt as a result. This shows your development and progression and is just as important as the decisions that you made. It's easier said than done, but if you appear calm, collected, and confident in your approach and what you say, the interviewer will also have confidence in you. Using your hands when you're talking can make your stories more animated and add to the communication, but be careful to not go too overboard with your gestures. Also, try to avoid fidgeting and fiddling with things like a pen or jewellery. While this might happen if you're nervous, the interviewer can find your jitters distracting, so be mindful of your behaviour. You want to look confident and professional, so avoid slouching in your chair and try to smile and maintain eye contact with your interviewer too. If you're taking part in a video call, try to set up your camera beforehand to make it seem as if you're looking at your interviewer. This will give the impression that you are maintaining eye contact. It's also important that you listen to all of the questions carefully. It's okay to take a second to think about your response. This will show the interviewer that you are carefully considering your answers. The last thing you need on interview day is to be panicking and to be flustered. Plan ahead. How you present yourself on the day is crucial. Whether the dress code for the company is formal or business casual, you will want to look smart and well put together. Plan ahead what you're going to be wearing. Know what your travel arrangements are and have contingency plans for if they fall through. You don't want to be having to arrange how you're getting to the interview last minute, and it will only make you panic more. And remember, it is always better to be there early than it is to arrive late. This will also contribute to how the interviewer sees you. Looking things up that the company have been noted for recently and any key achievements that the company has shows that you are interested in them, their progression, and that you have done your homework. It's also your opportunity to turn the tables and ask them some questions about where the company might be heading, what kind of teams they have working there, and their plans for progression, and if applicable, possibly company expansion plans. Questions are also a good opportunity to show that you are thinking about your future with that company. Remember to read through the application that you have sent them and the job description they advertised. Their questions are going to be tailored to the information that you offered and the description that they put out, so it's best to familiarise yourself with both before you attend.
Hi, my name is Will. I am a head of operations with Unite Students, and I just wanted to speak to you just for a couple of minutes just to give, I suppose, my perspectives on transitioning from university into the world of work, and maybe just any like really quick sort of hints that I could offer from my own career. So the first thing to say is like it's over 15 years since I was at university, so I get that the world has completely changed in that time. So in terms of like you guys being really savvy with like sort of networking, social media, etc., there's not a lot that I can teach you guys in that area, I would say, and I recognise back in the day when I was like gaining work experience and applying for jobs and things, it was much more sort of like traditional CVs, maybe phone calls, etc. So the world has definitely moved on, but just a couple of things which I think are super important, which kind of stand the test of time and all the sort of recent changes are, so communication skills I think is really, really important. So communicating in all sort of different formats, whether that is, doing a killer sort of Teams presentation, holding a great meeting, giving like quite difficult feedback one-to-one to people sometimes, even just composing a great email that really kind of gets to the point and cuts through what you want to say. Super, super important, I would say, and probably like one of the number one skills that any graduate or any sort of like hopeful employee can really hone just to sharpen up their effectiveness, and also really, really great for developing your own confidence in your own skills and your own ability to communicate the brilliant thoughts that will be in your heads. So really take the opportunity to, put yourself in that position where you have to communicate with people either face to face, or you have to really prepare for that meeting, that pitch, that presentation, because the more you can be really, really comfortable with standing up in front of a room, or, a virtual room or whatever, or even just, summarising why you're so great for a particular organisation that you want to move to. I think that's really, really important, because we all spend the first few years of our career, everybody spends the first few years of their career feeling imposter syndrome. I'm not really qualified to do this. I don't know what I'm doing. Everybody feels that's totally normal. But the more you feel comfortable communicating, the more actually you will feel like really confident that you fit in that role, and that you are kind of just doing a great job at whatever it is you want to do. So that was the first thing. And the second thing is, I know it is so tough out there at the moment, because casual work, part-time work, right, will have been just like totally removed for so many of you. I worked right the way through my degree, retail, hospitality, all those kind of things, which I know has just been such a struggle given the pandemic. But my second bit of advice would just be, whatever it is, even if you're in a very privileged position that financially you don't really need the cash, which I accept is very few people, but just take that opportunity to gain work experience in whatever field, because even where I've not had any sort of career progression, as it were, from one sort of lower level role, within the context of my bigger career, I can definitely look back and reflect on skills I've picked up, or people I've met, or even sometimes the negative experiences that shaped my understanding of what I didn't want to do in my career. And so much of that really, really good stuff, and again, confidence building, and me understanding what I really had to have out my career and what I wouldn't accept. So much of that came from sort of, if you like, the lower level jobs, those retail jobs, marketing roles, conference and banqueting, all that sort of stuff, hospitality. So I would just say to anybody, one, just be really persistent with things, keep applying for stuff. Don't worry if it feels a little bit like out of step with what you want to do. Better to be doing something where you can be making contacts and growing skills than doing nothing and just holding out for that perfect career job. And just keep going with it. Again, sounds really obvious, but particularly this current generation that are at uni and graduating now, you'll have heard so much about the need to be flexible and retrain and things, but just keep going and keep honing that sense of what's really important to you, because of course you need a bit of luck along the way, but your perception of what a great career looks like will change so much over the next few years of your life. And speaking as someone who's had some great jobs but also some really crappy jobs, I can also say that, there isn't necessarily a link between level and pay grade and how much you will enjoy a role or a particular career path. So that was it, really, kind of really simple things from my own experience, but hope that's helpful, and good luck.
I am Saab, Area Manager for Unite Students. I'm going to talk to you today about my experience from university going into a career. I went to university many moons ago, so it's all very different to how it used to be. But the one thing that I believe is still key and relevant to your progression is your academic and work experience, which will help mould you to become the person you want to be. All your life experiences, interactions you hold, and how well you communicate will play an important part into helping your growth. So be prepared as you'll start to pick up some good and bad attributes, and you'll really start challenging and questioning them. You'll be telling yourself, I want to be like that person. I definitely don't want to be like that person. The experience is so important. And, there'll be times you'll have to go the extra mile to get noticed. So keep challenging yourself, ask questions, and share your ideas. Personally, for myself, I started work at Unite Students as a service and sales advisor as a stopgap after I finished university nearly 12 years ago. I quickly realised I wanted to build a career with Unite students, so I took advice from others, grabbed any opportunity to further my knowledge through training, and that was the start of my journey. I really hope you found this helpful. All the best for your journeys, and I'm going to leave you with some helpful tips. Never be afraid to ask for help. Always listen to advice from others and take up opportunities when they arise. Thank you for listening.
We've recently asked 100 third year students across our properties in Leicester,
how we could best advise you for your post-third year options.
and these were the most common questions that were sent in.
We hope our answers are helpful for you.
As you transition from your third year to becoming a graduate, your university should provide plenty of options to help you decide what steps to take next. For me on my course, which was textile design, we had a specific module that helped us produce things like CVs and business cards, as well as helping you display your work in a way that would suit a professional environment. It may also be worth speaking to your peers, so students who may have graduated a year ahead of you, and see what they are doing next and what they did to get themselves into the job that they wanted to go into.
I would recommend speaking to a number of career advisors. I would also recommend visiting your university website to see if they are doing any career fairs, as these are a great option of learning different routes that you can go down. At the end of the day, only you can make the right decision.
In my second year of university, I went through a period where I wasn't sure if I was doing the right course, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to go into the field anymore.
It's okay to change your mind. Whatever you decide to do now doesn't have to be the final decision.
I found that speaking to careers advisors, and particularly my lecturer, didn't help too much because they wanted me to focus on going into a certain area of the field.
Don't feel pressured going into something that isn't right for you.
So this is a really interesting question because is it worth doing a master's degree? So it all depends on what that master's degree is in. My best advice for you would be to do a master's degree in something that you're interested in. So me, for example, I saw my careers advisor. They suggested doing a master's in urban development and regeneration, which is what I ended up doing in Manchester University, but it wasn't really something I was interested in. So I ended up dropping out of that master's degree. Because, as I said, it wasn't really what I was interested in. So what I would suggest is make sure you'd enjoy it, make sure it's something that interests you, not just about employment, because I really do think that in order to be fully engaged with the degree, you have to enjoy it as well. Go to your careers advisors and have a chat with them about it. Throw some ideas in the pot about master's degrees. Go on the curriculum as well about the master's degrees, just to make sure that you're fully interested in it. And just have a chat with them, and they will really decide, and make you decide if it's worth it or not.
A master's was very useful for me in that it helped me decide the exact field that I wanted to be going into. It helped clarify all the little areas that I was unsure of, and helped me make the final decision about whether this was the right field for me. Taking some time after university was a really important step for me. I wasn't sure if I wanted to continue in the field, and taking a gap year gave me the perspective I needed to decide whether I still wanted to go into the field or go into something new. It helped me decide whether I wanted to go into a master's, and it really gave me the time to develop as a person and enhance all of the skills that I'd been learning through my degree.
Don't feel pressured following the crowd. There's further courses, training. You can go travelling like I did. I went to Thailand.
You should never make a decision based on what your parents want or based on what anyone else wants. If you find a job that is right for you and it's in the city that you moved, then you should definitely take it. Ultimately, it's just your life and it's not your parents' life.
I think this is a really interesting question, one that I've experienced myself. So when I finished university, I did go back home, but I was offered a job in Leicester, where all my friends were, and it's really finding that balance between what you want to do in yourself and essentially it's your life. It's cringe, but it's your life to be lived, you know. If it's what you're interested in, something that you really want to do, you know, I'd say you just go for it. There'll be opportunities to visit your parents, and your parents can visit you, but as I said, it's all about what you want to do and where you want to be.
Firstly, it's important to be able to evidence your achievements and experience, so make sure you have some examples ready for when you walk into that interview. And secondly, have some questions ready for the end, such as, is there any training available? Is there any room to progress? This shows you are committed and are willing to learn. And lastly, be yourself. The company wants to know you for your personality, not only your experience. Personally, I think volunteering is a great opportunity to be able to learn and gain some valuable experience. It can also open a few doors. I volunteered at a sports coaching company for 4 months and I later secured a job with them.
Volunteering is a great opportunity to make new contacts in the field that you want to go into. Employers always ask for experience, and being as we're only young, we're not going to have a job in that field yet. Volunteering is the perfect opportunity to get the experience that employers are looking for.
It also looks great on your CV. There are many options out there for you, such as house sharing. This can take away the stress, but also keep your independence.
Renting rooms is not just for students, it's for young professionals too. It is unlikely you're going to be in a position after university to get a house on your own and pay the bills all by yourself. Starting out slow and continuing with a house share is a great way to go.
I think university really was worth it, not just career-wise, now that I have a degree that I can use to get employment, but also socially. It's helped me become much more independent from high school. I now live away from my parents in Leicester, and I've made loads of friends, loads of lifelong friends, and it was a really, really good experience.
Absolutely, it's given me the confidence to be able to explore different and new opportunities. I've also learned a lot of transferable skills that I would never have been able to learn anywhere else.
University was definitely worth it for me. My course was very intense and it has shown me how resilient, determined and driven I am. It has really prepared me for working in a high pressure environment.
Yes, the university experience was really worth it for me. Without it, I would have never met some very important people to me, and also wouldn't have the confidence and the independence that I have today.
I found the university experience really helpful in terms of transferable skills within the work life. I also really appreciated meeting a lot of people who were in the same field.
Yes, definitely. This has helped me build more confidence and independence.
We know that we wouldn't have been able to answer every single question.
So if you are still looking for answers, utilise the options that we've laid out in this video.
If you're still unsure, why not visit your local Unite Students reception and the advisors will be happy to help.
Thank you for joining us.
We hope this has helped, and good luck on your next step.
Bye!